KREM 2 News 10 at 10 begins now with Mark Hanrahan and Jeremy Legoo.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. Let's get started tonight. First up, a huge week for travel as millions of Americans hit the road for Thanksgiving. So we start with a live look at Snoqualmie Pass right now. As you can see, conditions pretty good at this hour. It can certainly be tricky for drivers over that area. Looking conditions looking pretty good tonight. A little closer to home, here is a live look at traffic along I-90 on Sunset Hill. No issues at this hour there either. All right, today we had the chance to talk with WashDOT here locally to ask about what they're anticipating for holiday travel. Ryan Overton with WashDOT East says drivers will see the most congestion on tomorrow afternoon as drivers hit the road for the long weekend.
The peak travel time on Wednesday is probably going to be between about 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. So if you can avoid those times, either leave earlier or a little bit later.
Those traveling to the west side prepare to see more state troopers on Washington's roads. Emphasis patrols will be watching Snoqualmie Pass and the highways around Washington State University in particular. Extra WSP patrols continue through this Sunday. And if you are flying this holiday season, expect plenty of company. The Spokane International Airport, well, they say they expect to be very busy coming off a record-breaking travel season just last year. Officials say they anticipate around 140,000 people to use the airport between now and December 1st, with peak travel times being early in the morning between 4 a.m. and 7:30 a.m., as well as around 12:30 p.m. Of course, anytime we are talking about holiday travel, weather can make it or break it for travelers. So let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo for more on what we can expect. Jeremy?
Well, for us, I think it's about as good as it gets when it comes to the next couple of days. Our stagnant weather pattern means more patchy fog each and every morning, but that seems to be the extent of it. A temp of 35 and a dew point of 34 means that we likely see a little bit of that patchy fog forming. None of it just yet, but I think it looks very similar to what we saw yesterday. Tons of activity from Salt Lake into Colorado and down into Denver, so just know if you're heading through either of those cities, plan for maybe a little hiccup in that travel. Here locally, if you're driving anywhere, I think you're good to go. Talked to a couple people who went over Lookout Pass earlier today, and they said, yeah, there was a little bit of wet road and a little bit of snow at times, but it was smooth sailing all the way. Likely the case tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon. Maybe a little bit of snow up in the mountains, but it's not going to be more than an inch all said and done. Thursday, we wind up mostly cloudy as that fog eventually moves out, but it is looking quite calm in the days to come.
All right, sounds good, Jeremy. Thank you very much. New tonight, one person's in custody after a two-car DUI crash near Ephrata. Come take a look at your screen right here. Washington State Patrol says that crash happened at around 7:20 tonight near State Route 17 near Rocky Ford. The road was closed for about 2 hours. It has since reopened in the past few minutes. To some national headlines. The day after President-elect Donald Trump announced that he plans to charge Mexico, Canada, and China tariffs on their goods coming into the U.S., world leaders are reacting, saying those tariffs would only hurt the respective countries' economies. Here is Trump's post on Truth Social yesterday. It reads in part, on January 20th, as one of my many first executive orders, I will sign all necessary documents to charge Mexico and Canada a 25% tariff on all products coming into the U.S. and its ridiculous open borders. And he wrote he'll impose a 10% tariff on China's imports until they stem the flow of fentanyl into the U.S. Today, Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau had this to say about Trump's plan.
Reality is we're going to continue to work constructively with the incoming administration to do what Canada and the U.S. have always done, create prosperity together, protect jobs on both sides of the border as we grow the economy.
A tariff is essentially an added tax or fee on imported goods that companies would pay and likely pass on to consumers. So what's that mean for you? I took that question to Gonzaga economics professor Ryan Herzog today. He says assuming Trump goes through with the tariffs, their impact would then also depend on how the Fed responds.
How does this affect the household? It's complex. If the Fed does nothing, then you are going to see, especially if you're in the Midwest, higher gas prices. You're going to see higher timber prices if you're in construction. You're going to see higher prices for the fruits and vegetables, mainly fruits that come in from Mexico, right? Your tomatoes and avocados. If you enjoy tequila, right? Those are going to be certainly going up in price.
Herzog says if the tariffs cause inflation to start ticking up again, the Fed will likely start raising interest rates once again, which will of course have ripple effects across the U.S. economy as borrowing costs would then go up. Local businesses already preparing for the planned tariffs. KREM 2's Connor McAvoy spoke with one business owner who fears the decision will hurt his business. Connor?
Well, the tariffs on foreign goods would include a price impact to items such as food, clothing, and automobiles. I spoke with an owner of an auto repair shop, Martin's Auto Services in North Spokane, who says any further price increases will hurt his business after 4 years of prices already going up. It takes a lot to run an auto shop. It takes even more to adapt to changing prices.
We see things getting a little bit more expensive.
That's what co-owner of Martin's Auto Services, Brandon Barton, is worried about after President-elect Donald Trump announced plans to issue tariffs for foreign goods from specific countries when he takes office. He says he'd impose a 25% tax on products entering the U.S. from Canada and Mexico, and a separate 10% tariff on goods from China.
All the parts are made in Canada, Mexico, China. It's probably not going to be a good thing for our customers.
They're parts such as brake rotors, which Barton says have already had a more than 50% increase.
$28 2 years ago, and now they're $48. So, and then since they're steel, all we see is them going up again.
Over the past 4 years, Barton tells me the batteries he sells are now at $180 compared to $130. Oil changes they offer are now more than $100. Barton says the price of labor's proven challenging.
We got to keep the guys with a living wage, and unfortunately, we just have to raise prices. We're still one of the lowest labor rates in town. We're trying to stay that way.
Trying to stay that way for his customers, as a change in his and other businesses' prices could be on the way come January.
We can only do our best, and let them know. And most of our customers understand what's going on and what's happening.
Barton says he just spoke with one of his suppliers on Tuesday who told him if these tariffs go through, the prices of his auto shop are definitely going up. In studio, Connor McAvoy, KREM 2 News.
Connor, thank you very much. And now to our night beat with a quick look at the day's top stories. People on the west side are still recovering after the bomb cyclone ripped through the area just last week. We have seen a lot of pictures and videos of the damage, but nothing quite like this. This is video from our Seattle sister station. A huge tree fell on top of a home in the Kingston area, splitting it right in two.
This tree could have just killed us all, and it's just sad to think about.
The McKelvey family says that if the storm would have happened a week later, that home would have been filled with the family celebrating the holidays. Thankfully, though, no one inside was hurt. And a heads up, drivers, more officers are out looking for drunk drivers this holiday season. It's part of a proactive step to keep our roads safer amid an increase in deadly crashes. In our effort to bring you more to every story, we looked into the numbers behind the state's 30-year Target Zero program. Since Target Zero started 24 years ago with the goal of no traffic fatalities by 2030, cars have gotten safer, but more people are dying on our roads in Washington. According to the state's Traffic Safety Commission, deaths involving alcohol and drugs jumped 63% since 2019. Washington State Patrol says they've already made 10,000 DUI arrests this year, on track to match or surpass last year's 11,000. WSP says that visible enforcement is a big part of preventing impaired driving.
The amount of love that they show for Amelia is what's going to get us through.
And the family of a little girl killed in a car crash in North Idaho speaking exclusively to KREM 2 tonight. Coming up in 3 minutes, we show you how the Little League hockey community is honoring the family. And that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just head to our website. That's KREM.com. All right, if you're looking for something to do with the family this Thanksgiving, before you dig into that turkey, look no further. The Bloomsday Race Runners Club is hosting its annual local turkey trot on Thursday at 9 a.m. That race will take place at the Manitou Duck Pond. BRRC will require participants to make a $20 donation to Second Harvest. Organizers ask everyone to dress warmly and carpool if possible, because parking there is limited. And if you or someone you know is in need of a free Thanksgiving meal, the Salvation Army has you covered. On Thursday from noon to 2, you can enjoy a Thanksgiving dinner with all the fixings at the Spokane Salvation Army building. Community members can also donate to support that meal. We have that link up on our website. Just head to KREM.com. And that was your KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where you get more news in less time.